welcome to another episode of Girl Talk right here on Inspired with K Swan. And like I always do, I get right to it. All right. So we have a special guest today, and I'm going to bring her on. She's my friend Micha, ML6 Logan. Hello. I don't know why I always.
You can't help it. It's okay.
And I can't even sing though. I can't even sing.
Oh, but you can.
Oh, but I cannot.
You can. There's video footage to prove it.
Where?
Somewhere in Dynamic Praise's archives.
Okay, don't. We got to cut this out because there is something.
I do believe I've seen it. So.
Okay, well, if you listen, but if you look very closely, the leader, Benji at the time, was in my ear giving me the note.
Is that what he was doing?
Yes, not the words, but the actual note.
Okay.
So, Okay. Listen, thank you for coming on, okay?
I'm honored.
As you know, this month is Women's History Month, and it's a month that commemorates women and what they have contributed to the world, the society, and none the like. So I just wanted to talk about our journey as women, right? Mm-hmm. The one thing I wanted to ask is, what is your most proudest moment or accomplishment or experience as it relates to being a woman?
I think realizing I was beautiful without eyebrows, eyelashes, or hair.
That's
really coming to terms with.
Because you know how we are about our hair.
Yeah. And I think when I looked in the mirror one day, I was just like, you know what? We're going to rock this. And after that, I think for me, that was a huge accomplishment. I think that related to the self-esteem that I had, that my parents constantly put in me, that I was taught to have. And it really showed its trueness in that moment. Like, I don't have no eyebrows. I don't have no eyelashes. Like, and being comfortable going forward in life and still doing and being up front and being out front without those things and still doing what I needed to do and not worried about who was going to like me, what dude was going to try and talk to me, like any of that other stuff, and just being me. I think for me, that was a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. Well, listen, they can be a real hassle. And what we've learned from 2020, when you can't even manicure those things, it's like, you gotta be okay with you.
You gotta be okay with you. You do. You really do.
I mean, because I love a good acrylic nail, but these nubs that I have, listen, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
So with that being said, okay, so technically in about a week or so, we would have been in a pandemic for about 365 days.
Yeah.
We're almost to that point. So what lessons have you learned in the last year?
That I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. I think that we get so caught up with materialistic things. And like for instance, and I'll be super transparent. Okay, I love sneakers, right?
Clearly.
And but during the pandemic, there were moments where I was just okay with not getting a certain pair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because where was I going? What was I going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, it went from me maybe wanting 15 pair in 2020 to me probably wanting like 5 or 6. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, now that may not seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but that was just kind of what I came to grips with. It also taught me like the value of friendship, because you can't see people. You can't really like, you're not tangible with people. And like, who you talk to on a regular basis, you being one of the people I talk to on a regular basis, and those friendships maintaining throughout. I think for me, it just really kind of put a lot of things into perspective of just what's important and what's not.
Yeah.
Also, it made me realize, man, there's a lot of stuff that I still haven't done. What have I been waiting on?
That part.
What
Yeah.
have I been waiting on? Because at any moment, life as you know it could totally shift. And you're just like, dang, I had an opportunity to do that, but I didn't do it. Why? So those are the things that personally that I kind of really came to grips with that kind of changed for me during the pandemic.
Yeah. That's why I feel like it's so important to learn what your purpose is as soon as you can and just walk in it, because
Yeah.
like I said, at any point things can change, and you look back on your life and it's like, well, what did I do? What have I been doing? Because like for the most part, the last year there hasn't been a lot being done.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
like if you haven't been doing things prior to that, that can also become depressing.
Yes. Yes.
When you realize, okay, I have wasted time even before a pandemic, because
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to somebody else on another episode about how this time is not a walk in the park for people either. So
Mm-mm.
while it's good if you can accomplish things, it's okay if you didn't do
If you
anything.
didn't do
But
anything, it
right.
is okay.
Right, but for the people who could thrive in
Mm-hmm.
certain ways during this time, if you weren't doing your purpose or living in it prior to, that's rough. That's
Yeah,
tough.
it just it made for me top of the year, there were some things I wanted in 2019 that I told myself that I was going to do in 2020. I didn't
Okay.
know how, I didn't know where, I didn't know what, but I did start preparing for certain things in 2019, and then the pandemic hit and you almost felt like, because it wasn't any type of like, okay, it's gonna be how long? 3 weeks,
Right.
2 weeks, it was 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm like, you didn't really know. And it almost put you or put me in a mind frame of being stuck. And I
Yeah.
was like, nah, like I can't get stuck. And so I had to I had my moment. It was probably a brief moment where I was just really like, okay, now what?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where is this going? And then you just kind of look around you and you're like, okay, you can't get stuck there. That's not who you are. Now for someone else that may be okay for them, but that's not who I was. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to make moves, so much so I moved across country
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying, it was like that wasn't necessarily in my plan, but when the
Right.
opportunity presented itself, it was
Right.
like, what your goals are, what your dreams are. You're not about to let this pandemic stop you. You just
Right.
gotta, be secure and be careful and not let, certain fears. You can't let one fear stop you from doing something else. You know what I'm saying? Because that, like, the pandemic was gonna be here regardless. Like, look, it's still here and
It's
it's
still
gonna be here till 2022. So if I would have let that stop me, 2020, there's certain things that I could have been missing out on for a fear of this and blaming on a fear of that. You feel what I'm saying? So
oh yes. Oh
I
yes.
just
Yes.
I had to
Been there,
kind
done
of
yeah.
learn and make it
Mm-hmm.
happen. Make it happen even in a
Yeah.
pandemic. But there are days where it was just like, I'm gonna stay in bed. And you know what? If I get up to get to the shower, which I know I'm gonna do, and get back in bed, that's okay too. That is okay too. I never
Yeah.
want anybody to feel guilty because, like you had said earlier, about not being able to do certain things. Because waking up, still being here,
Yeah.
being mentally whole,
Yeah.
emotionally whole, for some people, this was the rest that some people needed. Some people have
Yeah.
been going, and they haven't been allowed to rest, and they didn't know how to rest. But the pandemic forced them to do that so that they could rejuvenate themselves and come
Yeah.
back better. It's all in your perspective. It's really all in your
Yeah.
perspective.
For sure, for sure. I also thought, because like as you know, 2019 towards the end, my dad passed away.
Yeah.
For me, me that, and also being on top of that, being an introvert, I was okay
Mm-hmm.
with having to quarantine and be at home because I needed that time to
Mm-hmm.
grieve.
Yeah, to agree. Yeah.
And so for me, it really worked out for me.
And then when you were ready to be back out there and be in the front and to do the things that you needed to do, you were in a healthier space instead of it being my father passed. Let me immediately start doing stuff to kind of pile on top of me not trying to grieve or not trying to be, weak in the moment. But God literally said, I need you to go through this process so that you can be better. So again, perspective. Like when you at the time you don't understand it, but when you look back over it and you be like, oh, you look at the timeline like,
yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so what I failed to do in my haste is to ask you or allow you to introduce yourself to the people. So
allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is sorry.
Let's rewind.
Rewind.
And say today I have a special guest, Micha ML6 Logan. Micha, can you please just share a little bit with our audience who you are and what you do?
I am just an around the way girl from Detroit. I landed in Huntsville, Alabama in 2000 for school. I graduated from Oakwood College, now university, with a major in communication, electronic media. Worked at Oakwood University's radio station. When I graduated, I went locally to WEUP. I did news for a year. Then for 15 and a half years, I did middays. And this year, I made a decision to 2020. When did I move? August 2020. I made a bold move, took a risk on myself, and I moved to Los Angeles, California, where I am pursuing my voiceover dreams. I'm also still working in Huntsville. I'm the music director and middays for our new worship and inspiration station. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I am a part-time parent. I did not birth that child, but she's my sister. But this is where we are.
And she's an adult.
She just turned 21, yet I'm still having to do things, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But more than anything, I just, I love being me. Every trial and tribulation that I've gone through, I look at it as, what I had to go through it. Those things did not have me. I had them. And here I am, still standing.
Awesome.
That's me.
Yeah, you have a powerful testimony for sure. Okay, so who inspires you?
Who inspires me? There's so many different people that inspire me. Felicia Rashad.
Yes.
Cree Summer.
Yes.
Let's see. We have, of course,
that's a throwback. That's a throwback.
Voiceovers.
Oh, she does. Yes.
Yeah, Michelle Obama, of course. My mom, she definitely inspires me. My Aunt Renee. And then I have really dope friends. You being one of them. Like, let me tell y'all, if y'all don't know. I know she asked me, but I'm about to flip it. So what I learned about Carly in this pandemic is she's a baker. Contact her to bake your cakes. She also is a builder. Like, she can build desks. She low-key is a barber / stylist. Just, don't necessarily be all about, if you really, really love your hair, you just kind of got to go with her transitions. But Carlisha taught me something years ago, and she had a slogan about dreams and following your dreams. She made a bold move herself a couple of years ago. She did not know how, what, when, but she just knew that wasn't it for her. And she took a huge step out on faith. And I watched that and I admired that truly, like just seeing her go. And it wasn't easy, but she stayed the course and doing things like stand up live and doing things like a book and, ladies empowerment with the young girls and just keeping things going and creating business on top of business on top of business on top of business. I just have always said to myself, those are the type of people for me that it's not all about the big name people that have all the glitter and glam. It's like people in your circle that are literally doing it to show you every single day it can be done. So I really admire my friends who are my female friends, especially who are legit handling theirs.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, the ugly, they're handling and they're staying the course.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. A lot of why I do the things that I do, I know God placed them on my heart, but more than that, I think the reason behind it is because like some of the stuff or a lot of it is scary, right? And
Mhm.
so I've dealt with like not doing things because of fear or
Mhm.
afraid of what people may think or afraid to succeed, afraid
Right.
to fail.
Yeah.
And I just got to a place where like enough is enough. Like
Mhm.
that's whack. Okay.
Yeah.
So I do things that that I feel like it will inspire the next person.
Mhm.
Whether I'm good at it or not, I feel like I know I'm going to try my best.
Yeah.
And so if it works, it works. But
Mhm.
ultimately I try my best. And I just realized that it will inspire other people to do the whatever it is that they
Mhm.
want to do.
Yeah.
So with that said, okay, so as a body of women, right?
Mhm.
We have had struggles and still struggle. We've come a long way in certain areas, many areas. But what do you see as being challenges as we continue to move forward in like breaking down barriers and all those things? What do you see as being challenges that we can strive to overcome?
I really want women to get to a point where we don't have to fight so hard for equal pay.
Yeah.
I really want us to get to a point where we don't have to fight so hard to have the say over what happens to our bodies.
Yes.
I never understood how men can tell me what to do with my body. You don't have the same parts as me, and I don't have the same parts as you. So how you gonna tell me? Like I've never, and
Right.
being respected in high positions.
Hmm.
Shout out to our vice president for doing what she's done, because here's the thing, you got to think Shirley Chisholm tried years ago, you know what I'm saying, and it wasn't, not only was she a woman, but she was a black woman and she was
Right.
educated, so they didn't want no parts of that. So
None.
fast forward, to 2020, when we get that, a multicultural woman who's educated, strong, and about her business. And though it may take a while for more positions like that to be filled, but it started. It has
Right.
started and it's begun. And it's sad that it's taken this long for
Yeah.
it to happen. Like, you're trying to tell me you have 50 smart, intelligent women of all races. Then
Hmm.
you have 50 old men who are shriveled up. And you trying to tell me that they have a say on how America should go over these 50 women of all you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
those are
Yeah.
the type of things that there's challenges, but I hope for, and I'm hopeful in the future that they will change. We have more and more women that are in politics that are really making a name for themselves and are from, there's a black woman in a small town of Texas, where she just became mayor. I think her name is Rachel Proctor. I could be wrong, but I think that's her name. She just became mayor. That's major. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just
Right.
black women in the Senate,
Right.
younger black women that are in the Senate that are taking this thing seriously, that are really like, we have brains and we have power and we have voices and we're
Yeah.
going to use them
Yes.
and we're going to make a difference. So those are a few of the things that I see that, though they're making slow changes,
Right.
there's
Right.
still
Right.
challenges in the changes.
Yeah.
I say all the time that though black men are a huge threat, black women, listen, because we make happen, we are a whole threat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not even about us using the whole, oh, because black women are so strong. Okay, first of all, miss me with
That's
that.
no.
Miss me with all of that. That's not a compliment. That isn't anything, because where it's rooted from, it
Right.
shows as if we aren't allowed to have feelings. We aren't allowed to
Right.
cry. We
Right.
aren't allowed
Right.
to be so quote
Right.
unquote weak.
It's a way. It's a way to also devalue
Devalue
what
us.
we're going
Like,
through.
oh, so we can't get a strong medicine because we're just supposed to be so strong, or we
Right.
can't get, like, we don't bleed the same way. Like, if I broke my arm, that gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Like, it's not supposed to. So those type of things miss me with that. Oh, you a strong black woman. Let me tell you something. Let me
No.
no no.
But we have to unlearn that because
We
for
have
a
to,
while
yes.
we thought
We
that
thought that
that
that was a
was
compliment.
right.
And it
Right.
wasn't until we really got some sense in our older years, like, no, this is stupid. Like, this is like,
Right.
you
Like, I don't want to be strong. Whatever that means for you, I don't want
I
that.
don't want that. I don't want that. So those are just, yeah.
Oh man, this is a good conversation. I only have one last thing to ask, okay? How do you plan to make history in your world and in the world?
Who in my personal world, I think continuing the message to helping young Black women understand that, my cause is for breast cancer and things related.
Right.
And really continuing to spread that message, no matter how old I am,
Yeah.
that young women are affected by breast cancer and breast health. That's on one side of it. Me personally, I have dreams and visions of for my voice to just be heard in all different capacities. To go from here to New Zealand. You see what I'm saying? Like, my voice.
Yes.
There is where my strength will lie, in my voice. And just when I leave here, I want to leave empty.
Yeah.
I want to leave empty. I don't want to be left with anything that God has put in me that I have neglected. I want to use every gift and talent that He has put in me, and I want to use it how I'm supposed to use it. I remember Oprah saying, I want whatever God's dream for me is.
Yeah.
Whatever God's dream for me is, I want that. And so with wisdom, is constantly seeking Him and asking Him for guidance to obtain that. Because oftentimes we say, well, God will give us the desires of our heart. Well, here's the thing. If it's not what He wants for me, it's not going to work. I could want 50 Snickers, right? And God is like, hey, you're going to go into a diabetic coma. I need you not, like, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, God, what do you want from me?
We have to change the prayer request.
We have to change the prayer request.
Not give me the desires of my heart. It is, I want my heart and your heart to be on one accord.
On one accord, so that I can have the dreams that He has for me. And I believe that if I continue to walk in the way that I do and continue to seek and ask Him to drop wisdom into going after what He has for me, I believe that whatever I'm supposed to do in this world in its entirety will be done on Judgment Day. Like, hey, yo, He gonna look at it like you did. You was all right, going. You know what I'm saying? Like, that to me is the ultimate goal of this world. Like, all the other stuff, it's cool. Like, I could get the biggest contract in the world, but if it's not from God, I gotta say no to that. Because what's on the other side of that in a few years could bring harm to me, could do anything. And God is saying, like, it was presented to you on a nice platter, but that wasn't it. I had a bigger platter waiting for you, but you didn't go and take heed to the wisdom. You just went, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just want whatever God has for me. And whatever that is, I know it's going to be super, super dope. And it's going to change the world.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's awesome. So listen, Micha, thank you so much for joining me tonight or today.
We should have snacks. Why we didn't have snacks?
What?
Why we didn't have snacks? You could have whipped up.
I'm trying to get my life together. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've been seeing your TikToks. You drinking water and that's your meal and all of that stuff. I know.
I'm trying to get it together.
I got mine too, bro. We can have
listen, I had a good old time during the pandemic. I was okay with every but at a certain point, okay, enough is enough.
Enough is enough. I feel you. No, I get it. It's okay.
So I mean, I won't mention that the Girl Scout cookies were delivered today, but that's another story. We're gonna fight the good fight.
I gotta make my order. I gotta make my order.
Yeah. We were trying to help a friend's daughter reach a certain quota. So we just
sure, why not?
For the kids.
For the kids. Cookies for me, but for the kids. Yeah, we got it.
I'm gonna try not to eat them because I've decided to, try to get back on track.
Get back on track.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Until next time on Inspired by K-Swan, I'll see y'all again later. Bye-bye.
Ooh,